my fridge.
Hello viewers, my fridge is full. It's time for a Taste My Fridge episode.
Drink my fridge.
Good time to taste what I have and evaluate them over time. And this is going to take multiple episodes for me to show you. I think if I showed you all 19 in one episode, I think it would be too much. So this first episode, I'm going to taste the fresh brews in the fridge. Those are the ones that are still in plastic bottles, and so those were brewed relatively recently. And I'm going to have to be careful opening them. Let's see how many I can open successfully. I want to taste the changju and the wanju, everything mixed together. So I have a variety of brews to taste. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like this video, please click that like button and subscribe, and please share this video wherever it is appropriate. And if you have your own brews, taste along with me. Imagine we're having a tasting. So let me go ahead and pour these brews and tell you what I have, and then I'll taste them. And look who just interrupted this video. If you hear some noises in the background, it's probably her. So let's introduce these since I just poured them. So first I tried to pour the clear layers, changju layer of all of these, and for 3 of them I was successful. 2 of them mixed themselves before I was able to pour the changju. So these first 2, 109 and 110, are made with basmati rice, and even 109 was carbonated. And it has good color, settled nicely. 110 just had a lot of gas in it. As soon as I opened it, it mixed up. Now, 112 has very little sediment. It's still carbonated, and this was the 4-stage sake that I recently brewed. And 113 is a rosemary. It's so hopefully this one was not did not have any noticeable carbonation, so no problem with mixing that up. And then 114 was a recent doburoku made with my own koji. Oh, you can see 112 just decided to mix itself too. So, oh, there it goes. So I'm going to mix them all up and pour off some original full strength brew before any dilution in the other 5 larger glasses. Here I go. Okay, so out of these 5 fresh brews still in plastic, 4 out of the 5 had plenty of carbonation, enough to mix themselves up, and they would have overflowed if I hadn't opened them carefully. So 4 out of the 5 would have overflowed, and I managed to get changju out of 3 of them. Okay, now let's do the tasting. Okay, so that took some effort to pour that successfully, but now I have it. So the first ones I want to taste are the ones, the first two I brewed with basmati rice. So that's 109 and 110. That's basmati 2 and basmati 3. And out of the 3 basmati brews that I tried to do, I think 2 turned out the best. So that's this brew, 109. So I think 109 turned out the best when I tasted it earlier. And when I poured this, it had some carbonation, and it even this one would have overflowed too if I hadn't opened it carefully. Okay, so let's taste the changju for this one. Okay, well, it's very dry now. Yeah, so that just tastes completely dry now. That's okay. Okay, so this did turn out very dry in the end. You hardly taste any sweetness in this. It sort of dries out your mouth afterwards, the aftertaste. I think it is better with the rice sediment in it. Yeah, but the taste, yeah, I'm not getting much of flavor out of it, so that's too bad. Yeah, not even a rice flavor. So that, okay. If I want to compare this with this much thicker brew that had a lot more carbonation, this was the most difficult to open, was this one, 110, which was my, you can see in the Basmati 3 episode. Let's see how this tastes. Okay, sort of foamy. You can tell the texture is very thick. This tastes different than when I bottled it. I would say this tastes soapy. Yeah, this tastes soapy. This is not a good flavor. This is definitely better, but it was also better earlier before it dried out completely, and now there's hardly any flavor in this one. Okay. So that's the start of the tasting. Well, I wanted to know what would happen to these, and now I know. Obviously, I still have some things to learn about brewing with basmati rice. I'll have to try that later. And in between my tastings, of course, I'm going to have some water. The next two I want to taste out of the fresh brews here are the 2 Japanese-style rice wines. The first one is a 4-stage sake made with koji that I bought, and the other one is a single-stage doburoku, which is made with my own koji that I made. You can see, so this is the 4-stage one. You can see that I got, when it settles just naturally with gravity by being in the fridge, it is very clear. So this, so that's good. I got a nice clear rice wine out of this, but I also mixed it together so I could get the full taste. And I'm going to compare this with the single stage doburoku recipe. So this has a sweet aroma. Okay, and the clear The clear sake has a fruity taste. At the very beginning, very fruity. It ends sort of bitter. You can watch the video where I brewed it. You can see, you can probably see why that happened, but the beginning is quite fruity. That's an interesting flavor. Just the aftertaste isn't so good. Okay, so now both now mixed together. So it's nicer with the rice sediment. That mellows out the aftertaste a lot. So it still have a fruitiness. It actually isn't very sweet. Neither of these are sweet. And they do end pretty dry. It's not as bitter. With the sediment, it's not as bitter. Okay. So I want to do a quick taste comparison between the 4-stage sake and the single-stage doburoku. And first I'll taste the brew undiluted. So the 4-stage brew is more aromatic, it is stronger. The single-stage doburoku, it still has an interesting flavor. It's a little more sour. But it's still good. I'm going to try both of them diluted with some water. Sometimes the water helps bring out the flavor a little. For me, what I taste with the 4-stage sake, it still tastes milky, and the single stage, it emphasizes maybe the citrus flavor, a little bit of the sourness. But they're both very drinkable. And they've held up in the fridge. And then the final brew I want to taste today is this rosemary flavored makgeolli. And actually I have the changju here as well, which I'm going to call yakju, because yakju is medicinal alcohol. And I think, if you have alcohol with an herbal flavor, that's often considered a medicinal alcohol. And got a nice clear changju out of this one. And you can really smell it. It's a pretty sweet, very aromatic. Yeah, and it tastes like rosemary. Again, my idea here was that since the pine needle flavor, yakju, that's a real thing, real traditional Korean alcohol. So with maybe rosemary, since it's another evergreen herb, I could use that. So that was the motivation for this brew. And I think this has a nice flavor. And it is medicinal, but that's what it's supposed to be. Now then mixed in with the rice sediments, yeah, this is nice. Yeah, quite a strong flavor. So I'm going to mix this with some water just because it is such a strong flavor. You can see it can withstand that. There's plenty of body to this. But it's not too thick, and the texture is good. It's very smooth texture. Yes, even with the water, it still has good texture. It's not too thin. You sort of want it milky texture. but this has a lot of flavor, so it can withstand being diluted, no problem. Actually, I think it's best this way with additional water. Yeah, this has a nice flavor. Okay, so I think this is the best way to drink this one. So, okay, so that's the first 5 brews I've tasted out of my fridge. Hope you found this interesting. Hope you're brewing and enjoying your own brews. And if your fridge gets full, you have no choice but to drink your fridge. Thanks for watching.